Hello everyone, it's your boy, Alexis, Yoko, or Alexander, and I guess we missed something. Shame on us. Just kidding. Val sex and gender, the everlasting debate. The official version is Val, so I'm not arguing about her pronouns or how to refer to Val in general. Each of us have our own theories about Val's gender identity, and until Red Barrels reveals it, they're all correct. And we can refer to Val as we want. Red Barrels wanted Val's gender to be up to interpretation. They even wanted her sex to be up to interpretation. But the difference is that the physical body is something you can see, you can touch. It's not abstract, like the brain wiring, aka the gender identity in non-medical terms. Still, it's complicated as well, and everyone should know sex education. Even though we can't know every single detail that determines someone's sex just by looking at them, we can at least analyze what started this never-ending debate. What's between Val's legs? I personally think she has a penis and that she's a transgender woman, because I show my true face while shaping a female form with mud. And not only this, but that's my main argument. I analyzed the character of Val in detail in this video if you want to check. I analyzed her sex in detail in this one if you want to check. And if you're 18 plus, because YouTube age restricted my video. Because they think only adults need sex education. Kids? Teens? Nah. 18 plus only. Or you can download the video. In my Outlast analysis videos, I missed something. Shame on me. Something that in itself alone reveals Val's sex if you think about it. Only her sex, not her gender. Okay, so the part I didn't analyze is this section of Val's journal. When she says, during a nightmare, she thought she was wetted with a child's blood, but it was wetness of her own making. So, Val wrote this before founding the group of heretics and before being more open to her sexual side. Deacons aren't allowed to have sex, and I'm assuming she was more shy before. You see, she didn't use any explicit terms, as she does in her journals after embracing her sexual side. She wouldn't say semen or sperm or discharge or lubrification liquid at the time she started having those nightmares. So, her sex is up to interpretation again. Let's start with imagining her nightmares. This part is going to be traumatizing, but it helps with the analysis. You got another trigger warning. Now let's remember the story. In short, Val was forced by Note to kill her children, and she started having nightmares about her crimes. She started losing her mind because of this, and the murk of radio waves amplified the whole thing. Let's try to recreate in our minds how Val killed her children. I'm sorry for this, I know it's traumatizing. I feel the need to warn you again, but it will help us to get where we want. So, in order to kill her children, she had to keep them close to her, to have easy access to their necks, and for them not to move so she doesn't cause them even more pain. Now, thinking logical, with one hand, she had to hold the child, if the child was a baby, and she would have the knife in the other hand. But, if they were a baby, she will have to hold them in a way they stay still. And babies don't really stay still. Putting the baby on her lap, resting on her arm, would be the most handy idea. Not on the table, because you saw the tables in Temple Gate. It wouldn't be handy at all to hold them with one hand and kill them while standing up, even if the baby was asleep. I mean, try to cut a steak while holding it and standing up. Don't. Not a good idea. Never mind. So, Val will be either sitting on a chair or bed, either on her knees, so she doesn't lose her balance or hurt the kid even more, which she definitely didn't want to do. She didn't even want to kill them in the first place. Obviously, she didn't want her kid to experience even more pain. It makes sense that she was sitting or she got on her knees on the floor. Same thing if they were an older kid. You know when adults or tall people in general get on their knees to be at the same high level with kids while talking to them? I guess this is what Val did with the older kids. Or she killed them in their sleep. Actually, no, wait. I'm not really sure about this, because we can see some rooms looking like execution rooms, with a lot of blood on the floors. And these rooms are usually hidden behind a closet. I guess Val killed each of the children in separated rooms when it was their turn and not in front of the others, most likely for not traumatizing the other kids even more. I'm sure she wanted a peaceful death for them, as peaceful as it can be in these conditions. So the theory about Val killing the kids in their beds during their sleep, false. Now talking about the blood part. You know how blood spreads everywhere like shower water when someone gets their throat slit? And because of her position while sitting down, or on her knees, with the kid on her lap or in front of her, the blood will splatter on Val's chest and on her stomach. Some blood will end up between her legs, but that body area wouldn't be the first one getting wet, because obviously she wouldn't put their heads between her legs. That would be one, a very inappropriate and disgusting thing that Val would never do to her kids, and two, impractical. Try cutting a steak while having it between your legs. Don't. Anyway, the blood splashing on her chest or stomach will feel similar to what she will feel during an ejaculation. Warm, thick liquid splattering on her stomach or on her chest. That was a wet dream. Thing that can happen to both sexes. But if she had female parts, the wetness will be only between her legs and there will be no splashing. It's funny how some people talked about this part of her journal and some of them said, oh, she was wet, therefore she has female parts. Oh, wet dreams, therefore she has male parts. Bro, this can happen to both sexes, but in a different way. You know, there are people who deny the fact that she has a male body because she wouldn't be able to hide her penis, or she wouldn't be able to make boobs out of mud because mud doesn't stick to your body like this. If this was real life, totally agree. I cosplayed Mudval 3 times and I'm a trans guy who just started his transition. I know how mud works in real life. But it doesn't work the same in the Outlast universe. If this was real life, Val wouldn't be able to walk in water without the mud on her legs to be washed up, which didn't happen. The mud seemed untouched. Also her nose is big, and while covered in mud it looks almost like she has no nose. But that's just a visual illusion. The same thing applies to her penis, especially because her penis is small, and I assume not very hard to hide, under thick mud, especially in the Outlast universe. If you want detailed stuff, go to this video, the link's in the description. So, if Mud in Outlast 2 doesn't respect real-life physics, this makes it possible for Val to have a male body, or at least an intersex body appearing male on the outside, which I think is the case, and I mentioned it in my videos where I analyze her sex. Again, if you want more details, the links are in the description. I wanted to dedicate this video to that journal section. In short, this is about an ejaculation which Val associated with blood being splattered on her chest or stomach, because of her nightmare taking over. And when she woke up, she realized that blood on herself was in fact semen. Okay, just to mention, I don't think an ejaculation will feel exactly the same, but if you have female parts, getting wet definitely doesn't feel like this. But man, Val will feel the ejaculation splashing directly on her skin. You can see she doesn't wear underwear. Yes, but you see these bloody bedsheets on the floor and on the table? I guess Val got naked and covered her private parts during her murders, so she doesn't get her clothes dirty. Look how worn out these people's clothes are. Look how poor their houses are in general. Even Not wears clothes with holes in them. I don't think ruining clothes on purpose will be a very smart thing in Templegate. Still, even if Val wore her priest robe at the time she killed her children, that's still thin, worn out enemy in the end. How protective it can be. Anyway guys, I hope you like my analysis, tell me your theories in the comments, and thank you for watching.